Now, when it comes to our next story, yes, I will be discussing about a trailer that came out recently, but unlike previous times where I would go and present the trailer and talk about how it was and my impressions of it and my opinions and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to be doing that. I will not be presenting this trailer, and instead, what I will do is focus on the controversy that surrounds it, because oh boy, there's been quite a lot. And that's why I would honestly go and state that, again, like I said before we got into the segment, not only is this the most hated trailer that came out during the week, but it might also be the most hated trailer of the year. And it's not necessarily related to some of the context that is within, but like there are a few aspects that it is that, but it's mainly because of the main subject of what this is all about. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the trailer of HBO's Harry Potter. Yes, as you guys probably know, HBO Max is developing one of their most anticipated and one of their most ambitious shows that they have ever produced. And that is to go and take all of the Harry Potter books and create an epic series in which each season is going to be based on one of the books, starting with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, recently, HBO decided to go and release a trailer for that Harry Potter series, or for the season 1 of it that will be based on the Philosopher's Stone. And from there, there's been a lot of reactions, and it's been absolutely wild. I mean, sure, there are some that are hyped up for it to see how this version of Harry Potter is going to be and how it will differentiate itself, not just from the books, but also from the movie series that we had throughout the 2000s and the early 2010s. But in this case here, well, the imagery of Harry Potter has not been as beloved as it used to be. And the main controversy is just from the fact that this is a new Harry Potter project. And so the main controversy that comes with it, of course, is the fact that the project is attached to J.K. Rowling. Now, there was a time when J.K. Rowling was once a very beloved author, an iconic author creating a legendary franchise such as Harry Potter. But nowadays, however, she decided to make her entire personality not on that franchise, but about trans people. In fact, she is probably the most prolific anti-trans advocate, to put it nicely. And this is no secret either. And this isn't just a matter of like opinions either. She has deliberately said throughout the ages that she is literally using the money that she has gotten and that she is still getting from the Harry Potter franchise in order to go and full-on erase trans people. Like, she would go and spend fundings in order to make like legislations and make laws that would go and make being trans illegal. And she would keep doing this again and again, not just with the UK, but also implementing that mindset all around the world, like pretty much using her platform to promote hatred towards anti-trans people. In fact, I would even go as far and say that her viewpoint with trans people are pretty much the same as how Nazis saw Jews. Now, some people might say, whoa, Matt, that's a bit hyperbolic. But honestly, it's not really that far off, considering that JK, she leans in a little bit to Nazism, considering that she has actually expressed some Holocaust-denying ideologies. So she has been exposed as a Holocaust denier, and not to mention that during her tirade, in order to go and attack trans people, she would actually collaborate with neo-Nazis, with legitimate white Christian nationalists in order to make things go her way in order to hurt trans people. So J.K. Rowling has pretty much made it clear that by supporting Harry Potter, rather it be by buying the products, buying the merch, watching the movies, anticipating for the show, or even playing some of the games like Hogwarts Legacy, she's pretty much saying that she's using money to go and hurt people, to hurt marginalized groups like trans women and even towards women as well. Like a lot of people have said that what J.K. Rowling is to women, Andrew Tate is to men, where she's doing a lot more damage to women and to women's rights than she is thinking like she's actually helping them. So she's been a massive detriment, and that's a big reason why this has been massively controversial from the very beginning. However, to say that all the criticisms and the backlash that this Harry Potter series has been getting, like to say that's all justified, would not be true at all. Because there are some cases where some of the complainers are actually the villain in this case. And it's not in regards to J.K. Rowling, but it's in regards to the backlash over the fact that this series actually got a black Snape. Specifically, they hired Papa Esiedu. I hope I am saying his name right. Again, if I'm wrong, I do apologize for that. But they hired Papa Esiedu in order to play as Snape in the Harry Potter franchise. And as you can imagine, considering that this is a character that is well known in pop culture, who is commonly represented as a white person, but now is being played by a dark-skinned person, you can imagine how things can go very badly right there, especially when you got a lot of anti-woke people who are still upset over the fact that Disney would do things like get Halle Bailey to play as Ariel in the Little Mermaid remake, or get Rachel Zegler play as Snow White in the Snow White remake. So in this case here, when they got a man who has not just a black guy, but like we're talking about like a man with very dark skin to go and play as Snape. So going from Alan Rickman to this, oh yeah, some people got really mad. Like, there were some people whom their racist genes got really triggered, and you know how racist people can be and how violent that they could go at the presence of a black person. So of course, he would get death threats. In fact, I'm going to go and read you here from my source on Independent, in which it says here, the 35-year-old told The Times that he received race-fueled death threats after being cast, saying, "I've been told, quit or I'll murder you." While he hasn't reported to the threats to the authorities, he added, "I'd be lying if I said it doesn't affect me emotionally." Esiedu's casting was confirmed on December of 2024, resulting in abuse from those who strongly oppose Snape being a black man in the new series. Harry Potter's Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy in the films, hit out at the critics in July last year, saying that Esiedu was one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life, and that people being rude about him online were being racist. And some people even argue that making Snape black in Harry Potter, it would just ruin things in the context of the whole Harry Potter world. Because the thing is, like, in terms of Snape's backstory, he was heavily bullied by Harry Potter's dad, James Potter. And now, with that additional context, people are going to think that James Potter was just absolutely racist for bullying Snape because he's black. So, I'm not saying that the casting of Esiedu was bad, but it is something that does feel like maybe it's not well thought out, where it's just going to make the whole series pretty much worse, and it's going to make some of the characters a lot more despicable, where now, yes, people being racist is indeed a possibility in the Harry Potter world. And this is not even to go and mention about one common criticism that this series has, considering that this is technically a remake. And of course, as you know, one of the most common criticisms that any remake gets is the fact if it is necessary. And you got a lot of those people that would go and criticize if this is necessary. And some people have pointed out that in the trailer that they have presented, a lot of what they have shown feels a little too similar to what the movies have already done, that it looks almost identical. Like, we're talking about maybe something that could be a bit like a shot-for-shot remake, akin to what we've seen like with the How to Train Your Dragon remake in last year. Like, so similar to the point that it just feels pointless. And this is something that even Chris Columbus, the director of the first movie, has actually mentioned, in which he actually says here that the director who worked on Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and its direct sequel, The Chamber of Secrets, said in August that he got deja vu from the photos, which left him asking, what's the point in the remake? I thought the costumes and everything was going to be different, but it's more of the same. It's all going to be the same. And this is not even to mention, this is not even to go and mention some of the other controversies that are involved, most of which are connected to the relations with J.K. Rowling, like the amount of backlash that people like John Lithgow and Nick Frost has gotten because of the fact that they accepted their role, they accepted to play in there, and they tried to pass off J.K. Rowling's views on trans as just an opinion. And they keep trying to justify, like, well, I'm an ally, I support trans rights, but also I support playing this role in this movie as well. Like, they want to try to have the best of both worlds when it's impossible for them to go and do so. Which is why, honestly, like, it's kind of funny with John Lithgow, each time he tries to go and justify playing as Dumbledore in this, all I can think of is that when he accepted the part, it's very reminiscent to, like, the first Shrek. You know, when Farquaad would go and address to the entire crowd, and he would address to the knights about the sacrifice that he wants to do. It's kind of like John Lithgow is talking to, like, his dignity, his reputation, his image, his PR. He's talking to all of them, and he's saying, like, some of you may die, but it is a sacrifice I am willing to make. So that is wild. So, like, with all of these combining factors, now you know why I said that this is easily the most hated trailer of the week. But there was one thing that I did notice that honestly makes this absolutely wild, especially with the backlash that this trailer and this series has gotten so far. And that is the fact that this trailer is so hated that it made the Moana live action remake trailer no longer the most hated trailer of that week. Because keep in mind, the Harry Potter trailer came out just a few days after the Moana remake, and that managed to find a way to get more backlash than a pointless live-action remake of Disney's Moana. Now, I just want to go and make a clarification first that this is not to say that I'm trying to show support for the live-action Moana remake. That is not what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to say at all. I've talked about it in the last episode, and I've mentioned where maybe there are a few good things to go and mention about the remake, but at the same time, though, it is pretty stupid, and it does feel pretty pointless, as it does feel like maybe they're just doing another shot-for-shot remake, but now everything is live action. And not to mention, of course, who the fridge can take Dwayne Johnson in a wig seriously? Like, come on. Like, honestly, one thing that I am hoping for in the Moana remake is that it can be so bad that it's actually entertaining, that I can laugh my way through the whole experience. If it can give me that so bad it's funny kind of energy, then maybe the live action remake of Moana could be worthwhile. But overall, though, I just want to go and state that I am not a fan of what I'm seeing so far with that Moana remake trailer, and this is not to say that I'm defending it whatsoever. But at the very least, at the bare minimum, one thing I can say in Moana's favor compared to Harry Potter is that at least watching it is going to be harmless. Because the worst thing about the Moana live action remake is that it is nothing more than corporate junk. That's it. That's all. There's nothing more to it. It's not going to cause any harm if people choose to go and watch it. It's not going to cause any harm if people end up actually liking it or unironically enjoyed the thing. That's all perfectly fine, because all it is, it's nothing more than just corporate junk. And the worst thing that can happen is that it'll just come out as a bad movie. It's no different than with the Snow White remake or even with the How to Train Your Dragon remake, that both of which we got last year. That's all it is. In which Harry Potter, on the other hand, like I mentioned before, supporting it regardless of how it comes out, or choosing to go and watch it or consume it in any capacity, it's gonna ultimately cause some actual harm to people. There actually is real world consequence when it comes to consuming the Harry Potter series, because you know that J.K. Rowling is going to take whatever profits that she got from that show, and she will go and use it in order to harm people, in order to go and erase trans people as much as she can. And that's honestly the line where I feel like, okay, that's why, like, I feel like that's a line I don't want to go and cross. And that's honestly the reason why I don't want to go and present the trailer to go and talk about it, because it's nothing more but a distraction from the real harm that J.K. Rowling can go and cause, or that this series can ultimately go and cause to certain groups of people. And that's really the reason why I wanted to go and highlight this and to have a little bit of this discussion, because say what you will about the Moana remake. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be crap. But at the very least, I would much rather have a bad piece of media that's not going to be harming anyone because of its existence than something like the Harry Potter remake, in which maybe it could turn out good. Maybe it could actually turn out to be solid and maybe even as great as the movies. Who knows? But if it turns out to be like good, yet the consequence of its existence is that it will be harming people, then I'm not going to go and take it whatsoever. I'm not going to go and consume it. And I know there are still many people out there, and I even have friends and family whom they love Harry Potter. They still consume Harry Potter, and maybe they're going to be anticipated to check this show out. But then again, I know how other people also feel about Harry Potter, and especially with how hurtful J.K. Rowling can be, and that's perfectly understandable. And that's why, like, honestly, the best advice that I could say to those Harry Potter fans who are excited for this is just maybe keep your hype a bit in the down low, because yeah, like honestly, I'm a cis straight white man, so I cannot go and have a say about, like, you know, what trans rights like ultimately should be and stuff like that. But for real though, keep it in the down low, because it's not going to be a good look if you're going to be openly out there and say, screw the haters, I support Harry Potter and stuff like that. It's just not a great idea. So ultimately, that's what I just want to go and put out my entire comments on this entire situation. So, with that said, now I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to know what you all think. If you guys have seen the trailer, feel free to go and express your thoughts on it. How do you feel about the entire controversy that's going on, rather it be with, its mere existence and fueling J.K. Rowling's hatred for trans people, or the casting of a black Severus Snape? Let me know what you all think on all this. All right, so let's see. This trailer does nothing for me. I wish the best for the kids playing the characters, hoping the online fan base doesn't harass them, but otherwise, I have little to defend. As for Snape's rape swap, the only concern I have with it, with characters like Harry immediately not trusting Snape because he seems suspicious, or how his father would bully Snape and in a flashback would use magic to hang him from a tree. Safe to say that scene is not going to make it into the final cut. Oh, that is so true. I mean, it's gonna feel weird that, yeah, Harry Potter is just gonna be, I don't like Snape, he's suspicious. Oh yeah, you're gonna point that to the black teacher? Is that the case, Harry? Like, again, I am not against the casting of Snape being black. If they want to make him black, that's all fine. But it is true that it's going to cause some problems in terms of the narrative of Harry Potter, where it's going to raise a lot of concerns. Okay, anyways, let's see now. I did check out the trailer out of curiosity and see if there's any difference between the films, and this looks way more unnecessary than the Moana remake. Sure, that wasn't a great trailer, but at least Moana looks harmless. Am I going to see the show? Oh, hell no. I ain't supporting Just Kidding Rowling if she's involved in this. Yeah, exactly. I think Harry Potter is going to forever be a problematic franchise as long as J.K. Rowling is still attached to it. And honestly, it's one of the great examples of how we need to talk more about several of these major studios, not just Disney, has been going against the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, like, of course, you got Warner Brothers that is still heavily trying to capitalize on Harry Potter and collaborating with J.K. Rowling, but you also got Universal Pictures as well, considering in their theme parks, they would put Harry Potter all over the place. I mean, like in Florida, there are 3 different Harry Potter lands alone. And that's 3 different places where J.K. Rowling can go and fuel her hatred. So in that regards, like, yeah, like honestly, we're not going to solve anything if we just focus on Disney when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues. We got to put in, like, we got to have some discussions about others as well, especially with Warner Brothers and Universal. Let's see now. Kids, cover your ears. And I'll say as well on my part, pardon my language, but fuck J.K. Rowling. All my homies hate J.K. Rowling. I'm honestly trying to figure out who the hell is this even for. Is it for the fans? They have the movies. Is it for anti-woke grifters? They rejected the idea of Black Snape. Is it for casual viewers? They'd be turned off by the very mention of J.K. Rowling. This series isn't pointless. It's something worse. It's worthless. I'm not even going to pirate this. I don't want to give it my time of the day. Trans rights are human rights. Exactly, people. If there is one message to get from all this, is that trans rights are human rights. That's the big thing. And even for me, like, honestly, I don't have time for this Harry Potter series. I got I got so many other things that I want to do and that they deserve my attention. So yeah, like, honestly, you do put it best that it does feel like not just a pointless series, but a completely worthless series. All right, so let's see what other comments do we have here. The Harry Potter show is not worth it. It's clearly made because WB is desperate and Rowling loves the clout and wants to groom the kids to fit her ideology. The adult actors knew what they were getting into when signing up for this thing. The kids did nothing wrong and shouldn't be in this. People should really stop being freaking racist about Snape. Be angry about the fact that the actor is taking part in this thing, not the fact that he is black. This won't make it to 4 seasons. Oh boy, I mean, it's going to be hard to know if it's going to even surpass like more seasons, like have a season 2 or a season 3, because the thing is that they also mentioned that like in between seasons they're going to take time, like it's going to be like even after the Philosopher's Stone season does come out, it's going to be like several years until they would go and actually release another season of it, or that they're going to go and release the Chamber of Secrets season. So in that regards, yeah, it's not worth it. And also, yes, please no harassment onto the children. They don't deserve any of the criticism. They don't deserve any of this kind of backlash. Of course they don't know any better. And honestly, the best that I could say about this series is that I do wish those children the best of luck, and that maybe this could be a good stepping stone for them to have like a better and bright future, kind of like what we have seen with Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. So that's the most positive that I could go towards it. Let's see now. What other comments are there to see? Honestly, even without the controversy, I find this sequel equally as pointless as the Disney live action remakes, because I think the original 8 movies are still great, having rewatched them last year. Even still, I'm still not touching this series with a 10-foot pole. I only feel so sorry for all the actors of both that their hard work is now being seen as the trans community's equivalent of Nazi propaganda, or as it is commonly known as just Nazi propaganda. I don't think this is the trans community's equivalent, considering that no, the Nazis were still pretty terrible towards trans people as well, so it ain't that much of a difference. And again, keep in mind with J.K. Rowling, like, she seems pretty cool with Nazis compared to how she is with trans people. Oh, and by the way, did I forget to mention that J.K. Rowling is part of the Epstein list? Oh yeah, she has actually been caught in the Epstein list, where her name has been mentioned a few times, and she even referred to Jeffrey Epstein as her best friend, which really does make a lot of sense considering that she made 0 comments in regards to the Epstein files prior. So yeah, just want to go and mention. Let's see now. She never met the guy. Not according to the files, though. Just saying. All right, I think I'll read one more comment, and then we're going to go and move on to the next break. So let's see. Let me say this up front. Like the Disney remakes, I've got no issues with anyone watching this if they love the franchise. No judgment here, unless you support J.K. Rowling. If you're excited, go and enjoy it. Most people are in it for Harry Potter, not to support J.K. Rowling. If they want a more book-accurate telling, so yeah, there's that. As for me, the trailer just didn't grab me, even as someone who enjoys the franchise casually. So I'll pass unless the review changed my mind. I'll stick with Percy Jackson, thank you. So yeah, overall with Harry Potter, it's a very messy and complicated situation. But yeah, honestly, yeah, even I gotta say, I'll even take the with how much of a mess it is, I'll take the Moana remake over this.